So now the neck's bolted in. Just drilled it out. I had to go 0.5 millimeter bigger. So instead of 6, I had to go 6.5. But now it's in. Once again, we're going to check that the center line is correct. And then start placing the bridge. Also measure it again, of course. And let's see. Center line is still, let's see, is it a bit off? No, center line is still on. Perfectly. So we're going to mount the bridge now. Measure twice, cut once, or in this instance drill once. So I'm going to mark out the actual fret in the tape. And measure from the center of the gap, if you were in question, 31.8, which I believe is exactly what we had before, and 31.8. It's moved a little bit, so this is where we are now, 31.8. So it's about a mil off from where we started, a millimeter. I'm going to draw that up. Now, as I mentioned before, this isn't super critical because these are movable back and forth. So now we're going to get the bridge once more and mark up the holes. So as expected, we have to move that about just a little bit back, and squaring this up, I go from the center of the 3, center of the 6, sorry, so 3 on each side. So I'm just going to draw it up so you can see. Just in the center here. There, and then I can see the center line in the center hole of the bridge, this one. I'm going to line those up and put the saddles on the line that I just drew up. So the actual bridge edge, this edge, will be this much more forward towards the headstock than the line we just drew. So I'm going to go there. Let me see if my holes are in the center everywhere. And put the center there, center there, center there. So now we have all the holes we have to drill. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to drill these about halfway, and then one all the way through with a very, very thin drill. And then I'm going to use the same spacing on the other side to go the other way. And then we're going to put ferrules in. So are we recording? Yeah. So what we're going to do now is just measure up this string spacing and then save that. Put these in and then these in. There, tighten that so it's saved. Now I don't need a display because it doesn't really matter. I can go back and double check. I have this long drill bit I'm going to drill into. Try to keep it straight. Yeah, that looks pretty straight. So I'm going to go 2/3 down. Putting a depth stop on my drill. Next. Is that straight? Looks pretty straight. And if you keep checking your angles, both in front of the drill and on the side, you should have a pretty good angle. And with a longer drill bit, it's easier to see if the angle's off. Looks pretty good. You do have some leeway with this because the ferrules obviously are bigger and will require a bigger hole than this. So if you're a little bit off, you might be able to pick that up with just drilling the ferrule hole a little bit further in. So don't be too nervous about this. A guitar is just wood with steel wire on it. There we go. Now I'm just going to clean up this hole, making sure I get all the dust out. As you can see, there's quite a bit left in them. Now we're not going to put top ferrules on this because it's going straight into the bridge, but we are going to tighten up these holes using the whatchamacallit, so that it's nice and straight, nice and clean for the finish, and also making sure to keep the holes inside clean, because that's a problem often with string through guitars, is that you have wood sticking out, so they really have to fight to get the screw through, and we don't want that. So we're going to remove the neck. Okay, so the neck is off and glued. All I did was put this in and sort of very gently got the chip up and smeared some glue in there. I wiped off the excess and then clamped it. So it's now clamping just that piece, and that'll be fine, because as I mentioned earlier, the wood, this tight bond wood glue, is stronger than the wood it glues itself, so we should be all good. Other than that, the neck pocket is a little tight. We are going to route the edges here of the neck pocket, so it might take just shave a little bit off because I don't like it that tight. I know people like to put routers and stuff on top of the neck joints to show how tight they are, but it's not really good to have them too tight. So what I'm doing now, drilling this one through, and I might drill that one through, but at least I'm drilling this one through. It's pretty straight. Okay, so that's through. You see we have one hole here now. So what we're going to do now is find the square edge, put the back center line on, find this square, and then use the bridge to find the other holes. So what I'm doing now is using this, I don't know what you call this, right angle or something like that. As I said, this is just by eye, or I'm going to draw it up, but it's done by eye. There we have a back center line. I'm going to find this center line. No, not the center line, but the, what do you call it? Diagonal? No, traverse. There we have that line. Doesn't look super straight. I'll be honest, doesn't look super straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the 6th hole down as well. Then I at least will have a straight line follow. Oh, that was dead on, so I guess I did pretty good. Now, this should line up, and they do. A bit wonky, however, so I'm going to push this one up. I'm going to have to, the last hole I drilled now, the 6th string, or the 1st string, depending on what school you're of, needs to be a little bit lower. So if you can, I don't know if you can see, but it's here, there, 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 and there, but it's so little, you know. So I'm going to start off with a small Forstner bit, and then we're going to enlarge that until we have the size of the ferrule. Just going very shallow here. Okay, so we have the ferrules here. As you can see, I'm not on the center line, so either this center line is off the back center line, or I've drilled at a slight angle that way when I was going into the body. It doesn't really matter as long as all of these are in line and you're able to get the string through without problems. So now, zeroing this, gonna measure these. So that's 6.48, so we're gonna go with a 6.5. That's 6. This is 6.5. And drill with that. I'm gonna start with the first hole, trying to go as straight as possible. Let's see, what is this? What is this size? Because I do have a long bit for that as well. .3. Okay, so we're going to pre-drill with this super long bit. And again, I'm not putting any pressure on the drill, I'm just using the weight of the machine itself. And that's to not cause any tear outs or anything. And I am going backwards to center the drill and then start drilling again. I do have a ferrule template on the way just to make it a lot easier. Using a long drill like this does make it easier to see the angle. I also use the thinner one to get the thinner electronics wires through the body. And if you're using like what do you call them, woven ground, you might need to use this because it has a tendency to sort of bunch up inside the body. So we're going to go with the super thin one again. No, it's not super thin. Thin long one from the top. Just to open it up so you can see it through. Because it didn't go all the way with all of these. We're just going to take that final step into the larger hole that we drilled using this thin one. It's looking pretty good, except for this one. That looks good. So now I can see through all of these, and that's good. That's a good step. And the alignment doesn't look too bad.